Today, we are diving into a vitamin we all think we know, vitamin C. But we're going to see it in a context you would probably never, ever expect. Inside an intensive care unit, where it's being used as a surprisingly powerful weapon for treating victims of severe burns. Okay, so this sounds a little like the setup for a weird joke, right? Ancient sailors and modern ICU patients. What's the connection? But the answer actually uncovers a really critical vulnerability in modern medicine. You know, we think of scurvy as this, historical problem from old pirate stories. But what if I told you the exact same problem is hitting our most critically ill patients today? Yep, that's the link, a life-threatening lack of vitamin C. This isn't just something stuck in the history books. It turns out, when the human body is pushed to its absolute limit, like after a massive injury, its vitamin C levels just completely tank, creating this acute deficiency that can have absolutely devastating results. And just how bad is it? Well, you're not going to believe this. Studies have shown a really shocking reality. 68% of all critically ill patients have dangerously low vitamin C. And look at this chart. A full 32%, that's almost a third of them, have levels so low they're basically at full-blown scurvy levels. This is not some minor vitamin issue. It is a full-on physiological crisis happening inside our most advanced hospitals. So, to really get why this is such a big deal, we have to look at what happens inside the body right after a severe burn. It is just a brutal, cascading chain reaction, a body that is literally at war with itself. So it starts with the burn, right? That injury triggers this massive wave of oxidative stress. The best way to think about it is like cellular rust that just starts damaging everything it touches. This damage makes the walls of our tiniest blood vessels, our capillaries, super porous. They become like leaky garden hoses. Fluid just pours out of the bloodstream and floods into the body's tissues. And that leads to dangerous swelling and, if it's not stopped, the failure of our most vital organs. It's a truly catastrophic domino effect. Now, of course, doctors try to fight this. They pump patients full of IV fluids to keep their blood pressure up. But here's the crazy paradox. Because those hoses are all leaky, a lot of that life-saving fluid just makes the swelling worse. This whole problem has a name, fluid creep. It's this incredibly dangerous balancing act where the treatment itself can end up causing so much swelling that it chokes off blood flow and destroys the organs it's trying to save. So why? Why are we so incredibly vulnerable to this? Well, it all comes down to this really fascinating quirk in human biology. You could almost call it a design flaw that makes us different from most other animals out there. Get this. Most mammals, think dogs, cats, goats, when they get sick or hurt, their bodies just start cranking out more vitamin C. For them, it is a true stress hormone. But for us humans, along with our primate cousins and, weirdly, guinea pigs, we lost that ability millions of years ago. A single gene, the gulo gene, got mutated and broke. So at the exact moment our bodies are screaming for vitamin C to fight off all that stress, our internal supply just crashes. It is a critical biological glitch. But what if we could temporarily fix that glitch? This is where high-dose vitamin C stops being just a simple vitamin you get in orange juice and becomes a powerful medicine, a therapeutic agent that can step right into the middle of that destructive cascade and shut it down. You see, it has this whole toolkit of superpowers for this exact situation. As a really potent antioxidant, it goes in and neutralizes all that cellular rust. And here's the big one. It helps repair the lining of the blood vessels, basically plugging those leaky hoses to stop the fluid from escaping. On top of that, it boosts the immune system and it is absolutely essential for making collagen, which is the scaffolding your body uses to heal any wound. So it's not just one thing, it's a multi-pronged attack on the core problems. Okay, this all sounds amazing in theory, but does it actually work when you put it to the test in a real hospital? Let's take a look at the evidence. So, a landmark study by a researcher named Tanaka put this to the test. They took severely burned patients and in the first 24 hours gave them high-dose intravenous vitamin C. The results were, well, they were dramatic. The group that got the standard care needed about 5.5 units of fluid, but the group that got the vitamin C, they only needed 3.0. That is a nearly 45% reduction in the amount of fluid they needed to pump into these patients. 45%! That is a massive difference. It's a direct counterattack on that dangerous fluid creep we were talking about. This one number means less swelling, less pressure on the organs, and a huge step back from the edge of disaster. And the benefits didn't stop there, not by a long shot. The patients who got the high-dose vitamin C spent way less time on a ventilator. We're talking 12 days versus over 21 days. They gained less body weight, which is a direct sign that there was less of that dangerous fluid buildup, and their breathing actually improved, while it got worse in the other group. It's just this cascade of positive effects, one after another. The evidence has gotten so strong that researchers in the field are making some really bold statements. I mean, look at this quote from another study. It perfectly sums it up. They don't say it could be considered or it's a nice option. No, they say it should be included. That is some powerful conviction right there. So the implications for treating burn victims are just huge. But you know what? The story doesn't even end there. Because those same destructive forces are at play in another massive killer in the ICU, sepsis. Sepsis, it's one of the main reasons burn patients die, and it's a global health crisis all on its own. And, wouldn't you know it, it involves the exact same catastrophic firestorm of oxidative stress and leaky capillaries. So now, these amazing results from burn studies are fueling a ton of new research into using vitamin C to fight sepsis too. And that kind of leaves us with this final, mind-bending thought. Isn't it incredible that a key to surviving some of the most complex, life-threatening injuries in all of modern medicine might not be some new, high-tech, billion-dollar drug, but a better understanding of a simple, fundamental molecule that our own bodies forgot how to make?